Hi, I'm Shruti.
Hi, I'm Shukti.
Hi, it's Shreeya, and welcome back to Meet and Natter.
Yay! So last time we didn't really give a catch up, so should we just quickly catch up over what's been going on
What's new?
in our lives? Go.
What's new in our lives? Well, I can only talk about what we did today because that's all I'm going to remember, if I'm completely honest. I don't know what happened yesterday. The three of us went to the gym.
Oh my
We did a
god.
little bit of box fit and we're all got really achy shoulders, but it's not because of box fit. It's because we did arms yesterday. For some reason, don't know why.
No, we didn't. We did chest and shoulders, which we keep calling arms.
Fine.
We wanted to do arms.
I will call it arms, right? Those that we did it on the machines that were available, and yes, it was okay. It was chest and shoulders, so our shoulders are like completely knackered right now. I honestly was telling these guys I was plugging in the iPad and I had issues because I had to then push it with my fingers. For some reason, it was straining my shoulder. I don't know. Something's happened. But it was too much for us. We're all cardio girls. We realised that.
Yeah.
So we went to the gym today for box fit. And then after that, we went to go pick up some clothes that we had tailored slightly for me and Mum for Shukti's wedding.
Yay! 6 months to go. 6 months to go.
6 months ago. So one of the outfits that I've picked just because I like it, not necessarily because I'm going to wear it. I mean, I might wear it just one of them, one of the pre-wedding occasions, but I don't know. And then after that, we did a little grocery shop, a mini one, and then we watched a bit of TV and ate lots of food, and that's been it, really. For me.
Yeah.
I honestly don't remember what happened yesterday. You guys go.
What about you, Deb?
We went to the gym again. Well, we went to the gym yesterday, as you mentioned. And it was a working day for me.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, today I was with the two of you in the morning. And then after that, it was a matter of getting stuff sorted for the boys. So we're going to, well, Shreeya isn't, but Shukes and I are going to our cousin's wedding in about a week and a bit.
Yeah.
Oh,
and neither of the boys had shoes. There was a lot of confusion over what even they needed to wear because they've kind of got a theme going that everyone needs to dress to, and it said black tie, but black tie apparently in Canada doesn't mean black tie.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Like here it means a tux.
So what does it
In the
mean?
United Kingdom it means a tux. They just meant a suit, like posh, like dressing up, like looking nice. Everyone was like, "Do we need a tux? Do we need a tux?" Apparently no tux is required, but long story short, because it's not very interesting, we didn't manage to get anything sorted, so...
That's how weekends go, don't they?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a catch up on the past couple of weeks, actually, because I feel like there's so much has happened and we've not spoken about it. So in the past couple of weeks, the fella, the groom, came over from India to the UK to see us all and to like spend some time with the fam before it becomes his fam as well. Although I think he has officially been adopted within the fam now.
Absolutely.
Because I'm pretty sure my mum has gone on about or our mum even has gone on about how much she misses him more than she says when I'm not here.
Oh.
So I'm she in fact messaged him saying, "Oh, your room is empty, missing you."
What?
Can you believe that? Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like,
what? I didn't know.
I didn't get that when I got married.
She has never messaged me ever to say that she misses me in the 10 years that I've lived away from home. Ever. So I mean, I guess that's a good thing. That means like the parents and the fella have hit it off.
That can only
and
be
while
a good thing, I'm sure. What on earth? That's so random.
I know. And so he was only here for about 9 days, and in that we were shooting a couple of days as well. We shot some really cool stuff, filmed. If anyone thinks I'm doing something violent, no, not
shouldn't
shooting.
go to a shooting range.
We are
no.
filming. We are well, I'm a filmmaker and he's an actor, therefore we took the opportunity to go to some beautiful locations within the UK and film something super cool, which we will share with you when it's ready. So that was that. So then I had to, because he's, like I said, he's an actor, he likes to stay fit, so I was going to the gym with him every single day for 2 hours every day, and somehow I've managed to gain half a kilo. Make sense of that. I'm exercising more.
It's muscle.
You don't gain muscle that fast. I don't know what it is. I went to the gym for 2 hours every day for 9 days. And in the days that we were shooting, Shreeya was there. We were walking so much. We were hiking to get to locations. We were like skipping. Actually, we didn't eat the first day. So it can't be that I'm overeating. It's clearly because my body's just like, no, not going to happen. You're going to have a little chub on your wedding day and you're going to like it. So I don't know at what point I'm supposed to give up, but I think I'm reaching the end of my tether with that. But anyway, rant over. Do you know what? I feel like even if I talk about cheese now, it's going to stick to my hips. So let's just
Yeah, let's not talk about cheese this time.
yeah, let's just get right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Did. Would you like to announce?
Yeah, so today's topic is education. And the reason I thought we'd pick this topic is because I've been speaking to a lot of people who've been telling me about their children being very anxious about A-level results that just came out in the United Kingdom. Makes me feel very old, actually, weirdly, because some of these people are my age and they've got children that have just done their A-levels. I'm like, what is going on in the world? Whereas there's a whole load of other ones with absolute tiny little toddlers. So there's a massive variance in the ages of all the children of people I know. But I just thought it was very interesting because it's something that I think about a lot, my own education and the kind of education I want to give my kids. So let's kick it off with mentioning what it was that you wanted to be when you were growing up. Let's start with you, Shuks.
I wanted to be an archaeologist in year 2 specifically until year 4. And that was because we studied things about Egypt and like Greek mythology and like this really cool stuff. And then I don't know when that faded away, but before that I did want to be a hairdresser at one point. One point I wanted to be a teacher, but which I think all little girls do when they're little. And I'm talking like before year 2. I want to be a hairdresser. Oh, I want to be a teacher. Blah, 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 whatever. And then after year 4, when it started to mean something, I had no idea. Like I didn't have a goal in mind per se. There wasn't like a specific subject that I was like, this is what I really want to do. I was just kind of an all-rounder, I think, when it comes to like all right at everything, not amazing at anything, not poor at anything, really just all right at everything. So I didn't really have a set goal in mind after that. In high school I didn't have a set goal. I was so confused and I had to pick what I have to do at uni or even at A levels. Personally, I think 18 is too young.
Yeah.
For some of us who don't know, because I see a lot of people whose parents are doctors or parents are something, specifically doctors, I feel, and the kids are kind of conditioned to do that same thing. So they're set by the time they're 18. They know what they want to do. But what about the ones that haven't had that conditioning? Like the three of us, where it was kind of like, okay, do something good, but there wasn't anything forced into us, really. So what about the rest? What about us? You know what I mean? Like 18 was not the right time. It's too young. Like I always say, you don't even know your head from your backside, like at that age. No matter what anyone says, you don't. No matter how smart you are, you just have no idea what you're doing. And that's how I felt when I had to pick a uni and when I had to like sort my life out. I had no idea. And that's probably why I've ended up doing something completely out of the box. But anyway, you guys go.
So I think you two might remember this as well. The first thing that I said I wanted to be.
I know.
Or came home from school saying that I wanted to be. What was it?
Paramedic.
I said, Mummy, I want to be a paramedic. And she was just like, what? Like, do you even know what one is? Like, what is she on about? That was something that I wanted to be. That would have been incredibly hard. So I'm glad I didn't do that. It's very competitive. But that's the first thing I wanted to be. And then that was, I don't know how old I was then, like 4 or 5. I think I was in reception.
Yeah.
So, it was in reception. I think the reason I found out what a paramedic was because our class was divided into different groups, like how you have houses. Reception was split into police, fireman, doctor, paramedic, or something like that. I'm not sure if doctor was one, but police, fireman, and paramedic definitely was. I'm just assuming that the fourth one was a doctor or something. But that's how we were split up, and I was put into the fireman group, and I wanted to be paramedic after I found out what one was. And I was like, that's what I want to do. And that only lasted, I think, a couple of years until I started wearing glasses at the age of 6, because I could not see. we realised much later on that I can't see. I literally got the eyesight of a bat during the day. So I needed glasses. And then I was someone who really enjoyed my optician appointments. Especially, if anyone's ever been and like put those glasses on and they switch the lenses out and whatever. I was really fascinated by the whole process. So I really wanted to be an optometrist. I think that was probably the one occupation I was most interested in for the longest period of time. And then after that, I wanted to be a dentist or like an orthodontist. So when it got to the time of like choosing what GCSEs, what A levels I'm doing, it was dependent on me becoming. Well, I mean, it was focused on me becoming a dentist and me trying to pursue that. So when I did like my work experience and stuff in high school, that's what I did. I did it with a dentist, and that's what I was working towards in my subjects and trying to achieve that. Go and do like a pre-dentistry course at university or whatever. But that's what I was going towards. And then, well, when I was doing my A levels, I found psychology and fell down that amazing rabbit hole. And that's what I tried to pursue.
For me, it was I started off wanting to be, I think, a teacher when I was very, very little. And then after that, it was archaeology for a little while, specifically paleontology. Then it was, I wanted to be an astronaut for a little while.
Hey.
And I thought that would be really cool. But this was all in primary school, and in high school I had the same problem as you, Shuks. Like, I was very okay at a range of subjects, but not exceptionally good at any one. And so I picked very kind of broad subjects at GCSE and A level. Wasn't really sure which way I was going to go down, because I think towards the end of high school I was perhaps thinking I wanted to be a lawyer. Did a stint at a law firm, realised you don't quite, in criminal law, you don't pick your clients, so you get what's assigned to you. And I was like, I don't want to defend horrible people, but you don't get a choice. So I quickly dropped that idea, because I was like, I can't do this with any integrity. And then thought I'd do journalism, was dissuaded from doing journalism. And one of our uncles just said, you're always on the computer, why didn't you do computing? And that's what I ended up doing at uni. But it was literally very, very random. It wasn't a thought out thing at all for me.
Yeah, even for me, actually, when I was picking psychology for uni, in fact, psychology fell into my life. So Shreeya and I both did psychology at uni, but psychology fell into my life in a really weird way. So if I just take you guys back down my route, when I was picking my GCSEs, ironically, I wanted to do drama, and our dad, like Bar, said to us that no, don't do drama. What are you going to do with drama? Like, that's not even going to be something that you do growing up. Why don't you do geography instead? Which is so ironic, because now I am in the movies, I'm behind the camera. However, drama would have at least maybe taken the stage, not stage, I don't have stage fright, but I'm camera shy. So it might have taken that away from me a little bit. And it might have, maybe I would have known what I want to do earlier in life. Like, I didn't know at that age. I didn't know at that age that filmmaking was a profession that you could go down. You just kind of don't think that it's a...
You don't realise it.
You don't realise it's a realistic ambition. That it is possible. Okay, it's not easy, and you have to make a lot of sacrifices, because you can't live near your family, or at least for me, that's how it's turned out. You can't live near your family. You can't have your home comforts. You have to be in a different country and whatever. But it was still realistic at the end of it. So then I did geography, which obviously I don't know where anything is, so that didn't help me at all. Like, I just about know how to get home from places that I've been to 100 times minimum, and that's about it. Yeah, I still don't know my way around Mumbai. When I'm there, someone, like, if I'm taking someone around who's come to visit me, like, what area is this? I'm like, I don't know, because I am navigationally not very good. But anyway, then at A levels, like, obviously Indian family, Pa and Mum were like, why don't you try going into medicine? Just take the subjects that you require for medicine and see if it's for you, which involved maths and chemistry. Now that basically has given me so much baggage. So I dropped both of them after a point and took psychology as a full A level, and that was much better for me. So once I found psychology, I was like, okay, I like this. I find this a lot more with what I am, the way I think. It's I can't do math. I was good at maths in school, but then doing it at A level, I just shut down. It was too much. I feel like A levels are really, really hard, especially in the kind of school that we went to, and then going from that school to going to A levels was such a big jump. The first year of it, I was completely like, I don't know, and especially when you're not passionate about what you're doing. If I knew that this is what that I really want to be a doctor, then maybe I would have been more motivated towards it. But what uni actually did for me I have to say, is not necessarily helped me in my career, but it helped me find what I want to do in a really unexpected way.
Yeah.
So it helped me reconnect with dance again.
Mm-hmm.
At uni is when I went back to my classical training because I needed a creative outlet,
Yeah.
which my family knows I always need that.
Yeah.
Constantly, I need that. So when I was at uni, I went back to my classical dance. I did my Arangetram, which is essentially like your graduation from Bharatanatyam, which is a classical dance form, Indian classical dance form. I did that. Then my dance academy started while I was in second year, and that essentially took off, and that's what led me to the path of filmmaking. But I feel like the university experience helped me become a more of a rounded individual as a personality, more than anything else. Like things like Liz and I were talking about before, that maybe had I not lived away from uni for uni and figured out how to manage my bills and figured out how to actually get to places even if I'm always lost.
Yeah.
If I'd not done that, not gone through that process, maybe the shift to Mumbai would have never happened. Maybe I would have never found filmmaking. Maybe that confidence in me wouldn't have ever come that, no, I can do this,
Yeah.
if that had not happened. So for me, that was important. But has my education helped me in my career? No, but the experience of being educated or going through the things that come with going to uni, that has helped me
Yeah.
in my career, in my life in general.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's talking to people from different backgrounds or trying to, learning how to communicate, all of that kind of stuff. For that, university helped a lot, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Even if I was to go back and be like, oh, let me just save the money that I spent, I'd still go back and do it again, do uni
I
the same way
totally
again.
get that. I totally get that because it's the first time that you actually get that kind of independence, like especially if you're moving out. Because like you said, you've got to learn how to take care of bills and get insurance and find your way, and you will get lost. You
Get a
know?
TV license.
Yeah. And you've got to
That
go
was
through all
something
of
that
that.
really surprised me because we needed a TV license per TV
Yeah.
Per
instead of
TV, yeah.
per TV. So when we were living in halls of residence, I didn't realize that like one TV license wouldn't cover us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was its own thing. And by the way, international listeners, we have to get TV licenses in this country to watch the state-run channels,
Yeah.
which are BBC channels, and we're all resentful of it, if I'm honest, because it sounds ridiculous.
Moving away definitely helped me. Me being the baby of the family and always being babied and being raised by so many grown-ups. Like, I feel like that I would not have grown up in that period of time. Like, turning 18, I don't think I would have grown up had I stayed at home and not moved out. I feel like there's a part of me that would have, my whole development would have lagged those 3 years that I lived out if I hadn't done that. Because I learned a lot going away and doing all of that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't change that for anything. Even through all those struggles and saving money, oh my lord, would have saved so much money not going. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it.
I mean, do you think it helped you with your profession?
Well, like Shukti said, I did psychology as well. And it does help. Like it's a big course. Psychology, no matter where you study it, it's a massive course with a lot of people. You do learn from that about what people's nature can be like, the different personalities. I feel like it makes you more empathetic towards people, more understanding, and then changing the way that you communicate with people as well, and adapting yourself to your surroundings. So yeah, I think it did help. It definitely got me then venturing out, because then I did more after psychology. Although I focused on like criminal psychology and that kind of stuff, that's what interested me more, even though it was not looked at by the majority of the people on my course. They all kind of went more clinical way. And I think that's because there's more jobs in that kind of area. But
There's more money as well.
there's more money, yeah, in like hospitals, and I don't know, if you want to become a shrink, that's great. You know, you want to go into counselling and stuff, everyone knows that's expensive, you know, and everything. So there's definitely more money in it. So that's kind of what the majority of people pursued. So then, obviously, when lockdown came round, you guys know that I wanted to go back to uni anyway, and I wanted to further my studies, but I wanted to have backups. I definitely love having my backups in life, because I feel like I want to do so many things, and life's just not long enough to do all of them. So I like to back up my intentions with something else to fall back on. So I end up thinking, well, what if I do want to go down the clinical route? I've not given myself enough of an opportunity to fall back on anything. So that's when I did a distance course online to do a master's for mental health science. So I think that helped a lot as well, because it went into what I knew about psychology already in a lot of depth, but it gave me a backup for a profession to go into. Like if I wanted to then work with the NHS here in hospitals and stuff, then I have something, I have a grounding, something to fall back on and actually go on to if I need to. So I feel like it helped me there. What I did for undergrad then helped me pursue that as a backup as well. And you can always fall back on degrees.
I would say for sure I would not ever not do what I did in relation to going into higher education, going into university. I may, going back, rethink the university I picked or the course that I picked. I really enjoy learning. I really, really enjoy learning. I enjoy education as an experience. But from school through to university, I had terrible experiences throughout. I can't say I enjoyed any part of high school or university at all. Be it the course that I picked or be it the people I was with. More so the people I was with. And high school, like I mentioned in a previous episode, there was a lot of bullying. And I, instead of flourishing as an academic, I retreated and kind of didn't push myself. I think that, I did a lot of damage in that process to what my aspirations were, because my inner aspirations didn't match my grades, for example. So I think that it was a bit of a mixed bag for me. Again, there was subjects I really wanted to do, but I was dissuaded from. I wanted to do drama. I wanted to do art. I was really good at art at one point, but I was just dissuaded from it. I was told, what are you going to do with that? Do IT and business. So I did IT and business, and at A level I did psychology. And at one point I was doing 5 A levels.
Yeah.
Which back when I was doing A levels, we didn't have ASA2 like they have now in the UK. We had full A levels, so full 2-year courses in 5 subjects, whereas typically people take 3.
Yeah.
And that was, again, something that was pushed on me because I couldn't pick. I've always had a problem with picking between things. So I had, okay, I'm broadly very good at these subjects because I did very well in them in my GCSEs. Therefore, I'll take them at A level. And I was really not managing very well. And then I pushed myself to get a part-time job on top of that. So whereas other people had free periods where they could do their coursework, I was really pushed for time. So I ended up dropping French, which I think I was terrible. I became terrible at. I started off really, really good at French. And then as soon as French literature came into the A-level syllabus, I became terrible because I just didn't take to it. It was poetic language and in French, which I didn't really take to at all. But I really enjoyed economics. That was a subject that I took on that I'd never studied before, which I thought was really good at A-level. None of these matched up to my degree because my degree was computing, for which you need maths typically. So I had to sit a test to get onto my course. I managed to do it. And then I managed to be one of only 6 people on my course. And by the end of the first year, I was the only one person on my course.
Yeah.
So that in itself wasn't great. However, I did have an opportunity when I was going down the legal route, if I wanted to pursue law, for example, to become a legal executive, for which you don't need to go to university. But for me, it was a no-brainer. The decision was always to go to university. That was always what I wanted to do. And I think it's taught me a lot about managing finances, standing on my own 2 feet, not being dependent on anyone. Because even though you mentioned what you did, Shreeya, about being the youngest and being, babied a lot, because I was the oldest, there wasn't anyone to look up to or no example of anyone who'd done that previously. So I was like venturing into that space on my own, having previously been kind of protected in a way. So that was a big step, I thought, for myself, and it took me a long time to get used to it. But then I think my biggest bit of independence came when I started driving a car and going to university, and then carrying on with part-time work as well throughout uni as well.
Yeah, true. That's true, actually.
I don't know if it would have been different had I focused on education and not done part-time work, but that enabled me to have financial independence, which is very important to me.
Yeah.
Because we are a blend of 2 different things, of education and also of working, we're not a good example of either side of the argument. That is education important, or is it more important to go to work and learn how to work?
Yeah.
Unless you want to be like in a sector that's skilled in a specific thing, like engineering or medicine or stuff like that.
Yeah, even with me, I don't do computing for a living.
Mm,
It's a part of my job, but it's not essentially my job. The majority of
yeah.
graduates that enter into my work area, if you like, are maths graduates.
Mm.
And I'm somebody who got a grade C at GCSE maths because I fell asleep during my paper. I pulled a whole nighter studying because it was an India versus Sri Lanka World Cup game that day, the day before, and I wasted the entire day not revising, and
Oh
then
my
stayed up
God.
all night to revise. Got through half the paper, turned the paper over, and thought, oh, there's nothing left. But I didn't realise I'd folded the paper in half, so I only did half the paper.
Great.
And then I thought, wow, I've done this amazingly. I'm going to go for a nap. So put my head down on my desk, fell asleep.
God.
Seriously, you don't know the story?
I didn't realise you
I do.
decided to have a nap. I thought you were just knackered from the night before and fell asleep in your exam.
No,
You decided
I had a nap. I actually,
Oh, Lord.
so it was a 3-hour paper. I did it in an hour and a half, and I was like, wow, I'm very intelligent. Had a nap, woke up just as the person who was, it was one of our teachers who was, so it was one of our teachers who was checking out that everyone had done the right things and, telling us what we need to do in the exam, and came around and said, oh, just make sure that your name is at the front of the paper. And I flipped the paper over and I was like, oh, I didn't do half the paper.
Oh, God.
And it was so bad that everybody thought I would have failed. And my maths teacher came to my house to explain to my parents that I wasn't making it up. Do you not know
I
this?
don't remember this.
Oh,
No, I
no.
don't remember this.
So there's a specific teacher, I don't want to name him in case he's a listener,
You
but
can say
he was a
Mr.
youngish
and put the initial.
Mr. B.
Yeah,
Do you know who Mr. B is?
I know.
Yeah.
You know who Mr. B is, right? So he came over to our house. It was hilarious because our parents were really shocked that he only drank Sunny Delight. He's a super young teacher. And he drank Sunny Delight. We're like, sorry, we don't have any. He's like, I'll have water then, which is really funny. And then he explained to my parents that, she's a really bright girl, but we think she may have failed this paper. So I was really happy with my C when I realised that I passed my GCSEs, but it meant I couldn't do it for A level.
Oh my
I couldn't do
gosh.
maths at A level, and I do maths for a living now.
Yeah.
The irony of it. And I think that just goes to show that anyone out there who hasn't achieved their grades, in the long term, it really doesn't matter because you can always resit, or you'll get given a different opportunity to venture into that field if you so wish later on.
Now, just to kind of discuss this, now the debate of work versus education, right? Now, I am in a profession where I've not studied it, I've just gone into it and I've learned on the job. So, the filmmakers who go to filmmaking school or film school or whatever, that's a different breed of filmmaker altogether compared to me because I didn't study it, right? I've got practical experience. And what I've realised is it might be because of the experience that I've got, but I prefer people who've learned on the job. And I don't like to, genuinely, like, this is really bad that I'm saying this, like recorded, but I prefer not to take people who've come from film school or fresh from film school without any experience because I feel like it doesn't translate, at least to Hindi cinema.
Yeah.
It doesn't translate because, the knowledge that you get from a book, more often than not, is not translatable onto a film set.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway. So I don't think for Hindi films, specifically, if you want to be a director, I don't think you have to go to film school for Hindi films. Okay. And what I've actually found is that, I mean, I might be completely wrong. This might just be my perception after 10 years of being in the industry. It might just be my warped perception based on the camp that I've been in. But what I have found is that people, when they come fresh out of uni, their perception of what a film set should be is not at all how it is. Not at all.
Yeah.
It's completely the opposite. Like, film students are a lot more judgmental of how you're doing things or how things should be done. Whereas when you've learned practically on the field, okay, you don't have the bookish knowledge, but you do pick up a lot of things from each film. Which, I mean, Shreeya's been on film sets before, so you've already picked up I don't think you have to go to film school for direction anyway. You can learn methods. Like, for example, when you study psychology at university level, that doesn't teach you to be a psychologist.
No.
It teaches you theories
Yeah.
of behavior.
Yeah.
You know, it teaches you how to carry out studies on your own hypothesis that you've thought of.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily teach you how to give a person therapy
No.
or how to read a person's mind,
Yeah.
which is what people think psychology
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
The same way I feel like for filmmaking, specifically in direction I'm talking about, it probably teaches you theories,
Yeah.
not theories or methods of filmmaking, or this is, you know, study this filmmaker, study this film style. But eventually you have to find your own.
Yeah.
And the only way you find your own is with work experience, right?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I found that training on the job gave me a lot more context than what I'd learned at uni. So I think that uni provided me with the tools. So
Yeah.
it said, okay, this is how you write, you know, your findings up. If you've got a hypothesis,
Yeah.
this is how you write it up. Say, for
Yeah.
example, if it was a statistical thing, which is similar to what I do at work now. That's the only similarity. I don't really do computing, but I do test certain assumptions. It's taught me how to do the write up about it, but you know, the application of it is something that you only learn on the job. And what I find is that you sometimes get a lot of people who have come from the best universities and they enter your workplace and they assume that they can just hit the ground running, and they can't without doing that foundation work.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important. And I think it's partly to do with attitudes as well. I think you have to go into a workplace prepared to learn and to prepare, just basically preparing to continue that learning that you've embarked on, whether it be at school, whether it be at university, wherever your stop off point was for education. I think it has to continue in the workplace. And I'm increasingly find that there's a change in mindset, that people just assume that when they graduate from a top uni, that they should get a massive salary, and that
Yes.
they can do exactly what they did at university in the workplace and get away with it. And it's like, no, because it's so much
No,
more.
this is something that happens in the film world as well. So when I first went to India, like the first set of friends that I'd made, within that there was a guy who'd gone to film school, and he was not, and I landed a job as a third AD within a few months of being in India, but he refused to take a job that was lower than associate director. So just to let anybody here who doesn't know what happens in a direction team, is that you have your director, okay? Then you have an associate director who's the top of the, what do you call it, the hierarchy when it comes to the direction team. Obviously, the director's at the top, but then your associate director's next. Then it's the first AD, second AD, third AD, so on and so forth. And just to clarify, assistant directors don't get teas and coffees. For all those people that have asked me, we are not assistants, like personal assistants.
Yeah.
We actually assist in making the film. For all the people around the world, literally around the world, who've asked me, oh, so are you like a personal assistant? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I'm a part of the process of making the film,
Yeah.
an integral part of making the film.
Yeah.
So I hope that cleared that up, because no one seems to understand what my job is, and
Yeah.
it really winds me up.
I think they think you're an intern or something, which is like, I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of people who intern who have to get teas and coffees, but an assistant director is someone who assists in the direction of a film creatively. And
Even the
and
interns, even
yeah.
the interns in the direction team do not get teas and coffees. Even they are, on some level, they assist in making the film, even if it's just running and getting things from A to B or whatever. So, for example, on my first film, I was handling the casting of the film. I was approaching actors, getting them up, firstly finding actors who fit into the roles, approaching them, getting them on board. I was doing that. I was doing the call sheet for each day, which is basically whatever you're doing on the next day. What time do the actors need to come? What equipment do you need? What location is it? And that's for the entire unit. So without that, no one knows where to go. No one knows what you're shooting. No one knows anything. So this was on my first film that I was doing that. So no, I've never in my life got a tea or a coffee for anyone. Ran over, because it's been 10 years of people asking me nonsense like this.
I'm
But
glad
anyway,
you finally
yeah.
cleared that one up.
Oh my God, you won't believe the amount of people that have asked me, so you're like a personal assistant to the director. Can I just say, I would be the worst personal assistant to, I'm a bad personal assistant to myself.
She really is.
All right. I need someone to assist my life because I can't really make it run without help. People who are generally a little creative are a bit flaky. So I can't, I find it really difficult to organize my life because my mind goes elsewhere.
Yeah.
Generally. But anyway, sorry, ran over. I went a bit off education then. But anyway, so sorry, back to my point. So that guy basically refused to take any job apart unless it was an associate director, which is the top of which is what I've got to like after 10 years
Yeah.
in the field. You know, it's the top thing. And that's because he'd gone to film school and that is what he had been made to believe that, oh, because I've got this degree,
Right.
I can now run a film set and I don't need work experience. I can just go straight for the top job, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's absurd because you always need the practical skills. And if you don't have the practical skills, you can't do the job. And you've got no idea. Be it a film set, be it an office environment, you've got no idea what that looks like when you've just exited an educational institution. You've got no idea.
Yeah.
You don't know the dynamics. You don't understand how different areas fit together. You don't understand what the common goal is. A lot of them, especially because of the business that I work in, a lot of people don't understand the objectives of the business. They're like, they understand their little bit that they do, but they don't understand the overall impact on the business. So it's like you have to understand all of it to be effective in your role or to get promotion. And there seems to be a disconnect. But coming back to the point of education, did you two find that there was a cultural expectation on us? Because I think the way that the media, not even the media, just the way people assume South Asians to be, they just assume that we'd be very kind of educationally, academically oriented, and that our parents would be forcing us to into you know, like the typical doctor, lawyer, engineer into those roles. What did you find to be particularly different about us, and in which ways was our upbringing the same?
I think our parents would have been, not our parents, I think mum specifically would have been very happy if one of us turned out to be a doctor.
Yeah.
I think Ba is a bit more relaxed with what we're doing so long as we are stable.
Yeah.
He's not that bothered. I think he just wanted to make sure that we get into professions that pay the bills, like low risk, right? So I don't know how ecstatic he is about my work or Shreeya's work for that matter, because we're high risk.
Yeah.
Mine's completely turbulent all the time. Shreeya's at least making a regular salary.
Yeah.
Mine is project to project. Now, if you even get another project or not is so. I don't think Bart would have advised me to take on this career, but since it's my choice, he supported me a lot. Both our parents have supported me a lot at least, and I think Bar has guided Did quite a lot in her career choices.
Yeah.
And that's probably why she's making the most money out of all of us.
Yeah.
Because that was completely.
I am the oldest as well, though. Let's just put it out there.
No, but it doesn't. But you have a Bar sort out this field for you in it, which was low risk, good
Computing
pay.
he did, not the job role that I do, because I don't think any of us had any idea that this job exists. The job that I currently do.
Maybe, but even the degree kind of helped you get to there, didn't it? So he advised you to take take a degree that was low risk and high rewards as much as he could navigate. Because I know you wanted to be a journalist, and Bar was like, that might be a bit high risk and low rewards. So maybe don't do that. Maybe do this instead. But I think by the time I was completely out of control growing up. Like I still am. Like I'll do what I want. So he didn't have much of a grip on me. So, and because of that, I'm now in a profession where I didn't at all take anyone's advice and just went for it. But at the same time, I don't think our parents would be I don't think they could be any prouder of me. I think even if I was, the typical engineer or doctor or, the typical Asian parent mindset, I think they as proud of me now when they come to my film set as they would if they came into a doctor surgery I was working in. I think it's the same. They're just happy that I'm doing something that is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
So, and I think they're super proud of Shreeya as well, of what she's doing. All of us are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I don't think our parents are that, they're not set
No.
in the typical Asian parent ways, which I'm so grateful for, because my personality, or any of our personalities, don't really match that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the thing that was very important to our parents was that we do as well as we can educationally, so that we have a decent opportunity to get a job that will pay well and that can support us. And that is contrary to a lot of Asian cultures, where the expectation is that you study if you want. As a girl, you'll just kind of marry up and find somebody who's more educated, who can support you, and just bag a guy that can do that for you. I think it wasn't like that at all. It was more about standing on your own 2 feet to get a job. And the getting a job thing was very, very important. It was very important that you could live independently financially. Not independently as in like outside the family home necessarily, but financially, that you're independent and you're able to afford things and able to maintain a nice lifestyle for yourself, irrespective of whether or not family come into the picture, like your own personal family. So I think that is something that I really respect, because that's something I say to my kids as well, that education is important. Everything else is important. I don't pressurize them into education. If they take to a subject, they take to it. If they don't, they don't. But I think with us, it was always at the back of our parents' mind, at least, and they did try and instill it in us that study as much as you can and see where it takes you. Even if we didn't all become doctors or, you know, what they had in mind, I think at least we lived up to that. We did all study as much as we could, and to the best of our abilities. I must admit, though, I think sixth form was terrible for me, because I had like the teacher inconsistency that I had during sixth form was that would disrupt anybody's education, and that's probably why I had terrible A-level results. It wasn't entirely down to my lack of ability, but it was the mismanagement, I think, of my A-levels. So, but again, it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. I think that's the important thing, that even if you don't get the grades that you think you're going to get at GCSE or A level, you can still do fine. Speaking of grades, I didn't get the grades that I was predicted at GCSE. I actually got higher, but A levels I got significantly lower than my predicted grades. And I read a statistic recently that apparently 84% of students don't get their predicted grades. So that's the vast majority. Most of those are below what's expected of them rather than higher. So I think that it's important to remember that, but also important to remember that that's not it. That's not your final goal in life, is not that exam. That doesn't define who you are. And there are other ways. There's obviously clearing, you can take a year out, you can resit, you can do loads of other things. And I think it's also important to point this out, because you read so many terrible stories, especially in the Indian subcontinent, of people ending their lives over exam results, because things are so competitive there. And I totally get that. I totally get that things are very, very competitive. They're competitive here as well. I mean, we're only a small country, and, you know, there's limited spaces everywhere. I think there's slightly more options here than there probably are in India, for example. But an exam result doesn't define you. And your family are always going to care for you. And if your family don't care for you, then your friends are. Other people around you care about your life. And I think that's a really important message to anyone out there who's disappointed by results. That, you know, that's not it.
And this is the thing that people need to remember, is that exams are such an unnatural way of assessing people's abilities, is what they're trying to do. But it's not all how things work in the real world. That's not how your abilities are determined elsewhere, like in the workplace. That you'll continue to train and you'll have different kind of assessments there, but it's not like everyone's sat in rows on an individual table where it's all timed and taking exams. Like, there's different ways of progressing in your selected field that you pursue. It's not like exam taking like that all the time. That's just the easiest way for people to do it, for them to just get it done through an exam board and all of that. You can, like, we all have not pursued what we did at uni directly. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's helped us in some way.
No,
but
not at all. No.
despite all the topics that we chose at GCSEs, A level, uni, I've got 3 degrees. I'm not using a single one of them. Like, not at all. Like, after going through all those exams, all that money that I like put into uni, did not need any of them. And I'm now in a very secure workplace. And I've got a secure job, and I'm doing well, and that's what I'm pursuing now, and it's working out fine. And that's the exams that you take are not the begin and end of everything. They're really not. There's so much more beyond that.
Yeah.
I got a grade C GCSE maths, and I do maths for a living.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not a low-level employee either. It's, it doesn't translate. There's loads of options out there.
There are loads of options out there. However, I do believe that it's important to do something. Even if you don't want to go to uni, you don't want to do whatever. Uni was our maturing experience, right? But other people, I would never recommend anyone to go straight into work at 17, 18.
Yeah.
I would always say, go. If you don't want to, you can't afford uni, you don't want to take a loan, you aren't up for studying for another 3 or 4 years, go and travel.
Yeah.
Do summer,
Apprenticeship,
you know, but don't jump straight into work.
Apprenticeships are brilliant. They really are.
Apprenticeships even
Yeah,
are so
apprenticeships
good.
fine as well. Yeah, no, but I would genuinely say don't jump straight into work, because I've seen a lot of kids like, you know, who've come in as interns, you know, who are really like passionate that I want to be a filmmaker. And frankly, you haven't learned life yet.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how else to word that. There's always something missing. You've not taken time out for yourself. So you can't now give all your time to your employer. You won't understand how, because when you jump straight out of full-time education into a full-time job, right, without doing the uni years, because uni years isn't actually full-time. If you think about it, you get a lot of free periods. Okay, you get
There's a lot
study
of
leave, you get
self-exploration.
holidays. Yes, there's a lot of time to explore and work on yourself, whether you know that you're doing that or not, which you don't get when you're in full-time education. Before that, I know uni counts as full-time, but I'm just saying that it's actually not. If you count the number of hours that you are in lectures, it's really not. So, you know, up to 16 you're in full-time education. Up to then, after that, if you're doing your A levels, again you're in full-time education. And then 18 onwards, or even 16, some people drop out of school, like drop out of after GCSEs and go straight into education. There's always something missing with an employee like that. For me, at least what I've seen, there might be exceptions of that. There probably are exceptions of that. But in my experience, the majority of people who've left school and come straight into work and work for me, I always find that there's something missing in mentality, or they need a bit of time. They take longer to kind of adapt. There's always something not quite there. So I always tell those people that, you know what, just go take a year out, go study, or go do a short course, or go travel. Just do work on yourself and come back. And I promise you a job. But go work on yourself. That's really important, which I feel like no one tells anybody. So I think, so like I said, the working on yourself years of our lives, of us three, was uni. And that's why also I think having a part-time job really helps. While I'm in India, I don't know if anybody, like our listeners, know about the kind of class divide, but generally people don't take up jobs, part-time jobs, the way they do in the UK, like having a weekend job or an evening job after school, unless they are financially struggling, right? Which is kind of looked down upon as well. In the social status of people, it's kind of looked down upon if you take on a job in like a shop or in a coffee shop or whatever, like all the jobs that we've had. Like I've been a paper girl, I've worked at Next, I've worked in, you know, this hotel as a receptionist for, I've worked in a lawyer's firm, I've done it all really, and it's only helped. So I think that part-time job experience is super important as you're growing up, and then the finding yourself.
It definitely is. The one thing that I would never take away from my entire growing up experience is having a part-time job, just having the financial independence to, you know, not be constrained. I saw a lot of people at university really struggling financially, not being able to pay the next bill or whatever. And I was always comfortable because I'd worked and I'd saved, and I knew the next paycheck was coming, and that paycheck wasn't from mummy or daddy. It was self-earned. And, you know, like I always knew that I had that financial cushioning from my parents if needed. I think it boosted my self-esteem as well. And what it does for your self-esteem is massive, because you're like, I can do something. Like, even if my education falls flat, I've shown that I've got a skill in an area and I can do something. So, like, retail was my calling as well. So, like, you know, if I completely flop at uni, at least I can just go and work in a shop because I know how to do that. I know how to talk to people. I know how to sell things. Like sales, it teaches you a lot about sales as well. Because you're like, okay, I can set up my own shop. You know, there's avenues. You learn different skills. So I find it really surprising it's looked down upon because it's seen more as a need than a want. And I think that for us, it was more a want than a need. I think we wanted to do that.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
were very driven to do that. And it's not the norm. Irrespective of what people might perceive, it isn't the norm in upper society in the UK either. And how many of your classmates were actually working, part-time jobs? Not many of mine, if I'm honest.
Quite a lot of mine were actually. In fact, the receptionist job that I got was through a couple of the girls it was when I was in sixth form, and they're the ones that took me to them because they were looking for one more girl. So, or one more person, not necessarily girl. So they took me to it, and there were lots of people actually. There was JD
At uni,
people,
I was an
weren't there?
anomaly.
JD Sports.
I was the only person at uni in my circle who had a part-time job.
Right. Okay.
At uni, this is the thing, there's a lot of students that end up working for like the student union or in the library or even for like a representative for the clubs and bars in the area. And,
Yeah.
DJing starts becoming a thing, and, university societies, they start doing their own thing out of there and everything. So, yeah, a lot of people that I went to uni with worked, but even from like high school, there was a lot of people that started working, in like cafes and retail and becoming a barista and stuff. Like everyone around me was working from like when we were teenagers.
I think it teaches you time management as well. I mean, I think that's a really important takeaway because you have to do your assignments for uni. I think I mentioned to you two that there used to be a guy who used to work with me in one of the retail stores that I worked at, and he used to literally have his book underneath the till. So every time he opened the till, he'd read another passage from his book and do some highlighting, and then put it back, put it away before anyone saw him. But we used to you had to work like a little bit harder to meet those deadlines, but it just teaches you to remain motivated and to carry that on throughout life as well.
Yeah, I also feel like by the time you're, wanting to actually be in full-time employment, that part-time experience gives you, apart from time management, it also teaches you about how to handle authority outside of education.
Oh yeah.
Right, and how to maneuver through a workplace, because that's a completely different skill that you don't learn anywhere apart from on the job.
Yeah.
How
Oh my
to,
God.
talk to your bosses, how to get things to, what battles to fight and what to just like, okay, it's not worth it. There's a lot of politics that goes on in the workplace that you don't get told about at school.
No, I nearly got fired on my first week from my the retail store I was working at, because I didn't quite understand how the changing rooms mechanism worked. So basically, we had some lovely ladies go inside to try on some of our clothes that we were selling, and they said, "Oh, we left all the stuff in the hangers," but they'd hung their own clothes up on the hangers and worn our clothes out, and I got a really harsh talking to. But I think that
Oh my God.
it snapped me out of like any kind of delusion I was in that I could just coast by. I had to do a good job, and after that, I think I did a fantastic job in retail.
Yeah.
I think this is actually something, what you've just said is, I think, something that all parents need to hear who are putting pressure on their kids to do, like a high flying job, which is their perception, because every job is important. Every single job that is out there is important. They all have to get done. That's how the earth moves round. That's how the world functions. Is because all those jobs are being done. Lay off the pressure on your kids, man.
Absolutely.
Just lay off. I really do. I really do wish people take a leaf out of our parents' book and just leave us be a little bit and let us, fly and do our thing. It's quite funny because, like you said, that usually Asian girls, South Asian girls specifically, the focus is more on who are you going to marry, find someone with a good job, find someone with a stable income, find someone who is making decent money, find someone who's maybe a doctor. Whereas mum always puts the pressure on me to, why are you taking a break from work? Like she'll ask me, because obviously I freelance, so it's project to project. And post-COVID, honestly, the projects haven't been flying in because everybody knows cinema as a worldwide thing has taken a bit of a hit since Netflix and all of that has arisen. So the number of projects has died down. And I remember when we went to Pondicherry as a family, like Did wasn't there, but Shreeya was there, Mum and Pa were there.
Yeah.
We went there. On the flight back to Mumbai from Pondicherry, Mum was like, I think it's time to go back to work. And I was like, okay, Mum, sorry, but yeah, my jollies come to then, which is really funny because all the other girls that I know, not all of them, obviously, but a lot of the other girls that I work with do it out of choice,
Yeah.
not because their parents are encouraging them. And
Yeah.
obviously, with me being based in India, the people that I work with are
Yeah.
South Asian, the Indian, specifically, not even South Asian, the Indian. So it's an option for them. Even my to be husband says that he, as a guy, has faced a lot of pressure to have a stable job and to be earning X amount before he gets married, before whatever. And that's another reason why we kind of waited quite a long time before deciding to tie the knot, because there was so much pressure on him. And he's an actor, so that's even more high pressure, high risk than being a director. So we waited for a really long time before deciding to get married because of that, because the amount of pressure put on him,
Yeah.
not necessarily from his parents, not from his parents, from society as a whole,
Yeah.
that a married
Yeah.
man should be like this. So we waited it out, and then now we're like, okay, let's get married now that there's a bit of stability everywhere. So I really think everyone just needs to chill out and ease up and let their kids find their path, whether it's education, whether it's work. Encourage both, encourage a blend of both.
Yeah.
I think a blend
Yeah.
of both is important. I don't think one is more important than the other.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think get your part-time job.
No.
I think get your butt to school, however long you want to do it. Go and travel
Yeah.
without mummy and daddy. Just go and travel and round yourself off as a proper human being
Exactly.
Yeah, I
and
think
start
parents
your
need to
life
definitely
like
lay
that.
off. They need to lay off the pressure for sure. And if any parents are listening to
Yeah.
this, just and your child hasn't perhaps got the grades that you expected, learn from us. I didn't get the grades that I
Yeah.
expected, and I'm doing quite well
Yeah.
for myself. So
So long
it's not all
as I
about that.
understand there's a balance, so long as your kid isn't being lazy, so long as you can see that your kid is putting in the effort
Yeah.
and isn't distracted, because obviously there's so much right now, social media, you can spend hours scrolling on Instagram, you can spend hours just, gassing with your friends on WhatsApp or whatever. So long as that isn't what it is and your kid is actually putting their effort into what they're doing and they're showing passion for something, for anything productive,
Yeah.
just go with it, encourage them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
for
what I
sure.
would say. But yeah, to conclude this debate, I think, of education versus work, what do you guys think? I've given my take on it. What do you guys lean towards a little bit more?
I think it's got to be a blend of the two, for sure. Education, in the sense, I think it gives you like an insight into the world around you and how to. I think it's important to have that kind of academic knowledge, just so you can make sense of certain questions that you might have in the world. But the main thing that you get from education is discipline, which I think is important. Work wise, the practical, just knowing that you have practical skill, being proud of the work that you do, the self confidence you get from that is just unparalleled, I think. But I do think it has to be a blend of the two.
I agree. It's got to be a combination. I mean, everyone knows from the fact that I've got 3 degrees and I was actually trying to do more. I could have very easily spent the rest of my life at university just doing more and more degrees because I absolutely love learning. Now, that's not for everyone. And I can't say that it's benefited me miraculously. Like I said, I've not pursued any of them. But it has helped me in a lot of different ways. So I would recommend that people study for as long as they want to and as long as it's necessary as per their country's guidelines on how long full-time education is needed and required and everything, but stick at it. There's so many other ways of learning anyway, like there's online learning, there's distance learning, there's so many other ways of getting to it, and a lot of jobs also provide training and stuff like that you can get on board with. But life experience is so important, like these two have mentioned as well. Don't just start working straight out of school because you don't know anything about life yet. If you want to just start working straight away, it's going to be a lot to take on, and it's just then when do you live? When do you get to live? Because honestly, once you start working full time, mate, that is it. Right? That is it. You're not going to have time for anything else. You're going to start looking to get a house and bills and marriage and kids, and you start being a grown up far too early. Just live a little in between. It's so important. So I think it's definitely going to need to be a combination, especially if you like us.
I think it's really important as well to mention again that education isn't the be all end all, because there's a lot of people for various reasons who aren't either inclined towards academia or they have neurological barriers or social barriers that prevent them from fully integrating into the academic space. So I think for them, like you mentioned, Shreeya, there are alternative ways of learning, like online and things like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the social interaction when you're learning. I do think that it's not something for everyone, and that's why the disappointment that sometimes parents feel, I think that's undue. It's undue pressure, and I think you need to understand if there are any such complexities with your child, how to navigate those first as well, because those are going to translate into the workspace as well.
That's something I think is so important for parents to understand, that if it's something that your kid is not picking up at school directly, or they're having any issues, you need to look into that and you need to be supportive and find out what the best way for your kid is and what the alternative things are. But then also be understanding if they want to pursue something that's not something you regard as a steady job or whatever, because it might be something new and upcoming. Like social media is such a big thing right now. Everyone's all about getting on social media and getting their own platform and becoming an influencer and all of that. And you know, a lot of people are doing really, really well with it, and that might just be your kid's calling in whatever thing that is. Just look into it. If you're not familiar with it, don't just disregard it straight away. Every kid has potential. Every person has potential, and they need to find that. Not everyone's going to become a doctor and all of that, so just support them, be understanding, and just listen to what they have to say, and just read up on it if you don't know. Move with the times.
Yeah, and ultimately we're all wired differently. We're all good at different things. We're all, we're not all programmed to do the same thing. So there is this weird pattern with South Asian parents, at least. It's almost like the caste system, right? That the parents are something, therefore the kids have to be the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like the modern day caste system, which is also, again, I'm going to go back to the film industry. It's also there in the film industry, this whole nepotism debate that's there. That the parents are actors or filmmakers, therefore the kids are actors and filmmakers, and so on and so forth. It's the modern day caste system. So if it's bad, or if it's a taboo, or if it's something frowned upon or looked down upon, people are following the caste system as of today. We're creating a new one for some bizarre reason, by encouraging our kids to do the same thing that we have done, or that we perceive as a higher caste, or this is low caste. Doctors are high caste, but it is a modern. This is the only way I can think. It's the modern day caste system where you're putting yourself in. This is a more desirable candidate because they are so and so profession. It's exactly what the caste system is, so let's not be hypocrites about it. But anyway, on that note, shall we conclude?
We should wrap, I think, because we've nattered on for
quite a long time. But to all those who got their A-levels this week, the results this week, I hope you got what you wanted. Or was it last week? Depending on when this podcast comes out. Hope you got what you wanted.
GCSE results might be out by the time this drops as well.
So I hope everyone got what they wanted, and they're at the colleges and universities of their choice, or have got the job of their choice, or are just generally happy with what they got.
And if you didn't, that's absolutely fine. There'll be alternative routes for everything.
So why don't you guys leave us a comment about what you think is more important. To all the doctors out there, we love you. Thank you for saving our lives. We're so happy that you are there. We just didn't want to be one of you.
Yeah. Nothing personal. It just wasn't for us.
Yeah. This was not meant to offend.
Doctors, engineers, no hate. We love yous.
Yeah. To ease the pressure off the kids like us who just don't have it in them to be doctors or engineers or whatever.
And being a lawyer was not being a lawyer was a complete choice on my part. It was just something I couldn't reconcile within my head. So
guys, leave us a comment. Let us know what you wanted to do, what you've ended up doing. Is education more important, do you think? Or do you think work experience or life experience is more important? Leave us a comment, give us a like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much to all those people that have subscribed lately. We've got lots of new subscribers coming up.
Yay.
But interact with us, leave us comments as well. Talk to us.
Natter back. #Natter back. Love you guys.
Yes. Natter back. Talk back to us. Chat back. Like, clap back. Do whatever you got to do, but say something back, innit? So interact with us, because, I mean, we can see that our subscribers are going up, but we just want to hear from you as well. So on that note, let's part ways here.
Yeah. See you guys in the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Over and out.